So you're here for the visa 101 and understanding the process, given that you are an international student. So today I have the great pleasure of being alongside my colleague Keke from the Office of International Student Affairs. So we're here to guide you through this process, give you an overview, and hopefully answer most of your questions towards the end of the presentation. Once again, if you're a type of people who needs to write down your questions, you have the Q&A bots, so don't hesitate to submit your questions on the bots, and we'll be happy to answer towards the end. So I'll start with the presentation, we'll go through the agenda, and then my colleague Keke will take over to finish up the presentation. So what are we going to be covering today? Applying for your I-20, getting your F1 visa, maintaining your F1 visa status, planning your trip to Emerson, and then any questions that you might have today. The application. Just to give an overview to everybody, you're gonna find a lot of this information on the application portal of the student who has been admitted. For these documents to show up, you're gonna have to be a deposited student. So even though you're an admitted international student, which we are super proud and happy of you, that you apply and you got admitted to Emerson, you might not see this reflected on your portal until you pay your deposit. However, we also have a website for admitted students where you can see all the steps for where you can find this information as well. So that's one way that you can start to see and prepare for when once you pay your deposit and this comes live in your portal, then you're ready to submit that information. You can also see that website right now on the chat. Therefore, to receive your Emerson I-20, you will need to submit an official bank document showing a minimum of $87,903 or $100,104 for the Global BFA program. We're going to go over all these documents shortly. You're also going to need the letter of financial sponsorship, your international student contact form, and a copy of your biographical page or your passport. So those are the full things that we need at Emerson for us to process your I-20. Now, the bank document. There's a couple of things that we need to make sure that you include. You're gonna find a sample on the website that we share on the chat and also in your portal. It has to be liquid assets. What does this mean? It needs to be a checking account, a saving account, a loan letter, or a certificate of deposit. It also needs to list the exact amount that we're speaking for. To give you a little bit of context as well, if the amount that we're saying is 87,903, you're gonna subtract this from your scholarship. So if you receive any scholarship at the time of admission, you're gonna subtract the amount of your scholarship to the amount that we say 87,903. The number that you get from those two is the number that you need to showcase on your bank document. So make sure that when you ask the bank or your sponsor asks the bank for this letter, that it shows the exact amount that you need to cover your expenses at Emerson. If it's a certificate of deposit, it must have a maturity date of at least August 1st. The document needs to be in English, and also the documents needs to be a validity within the last 6 months. So today we're in March, so we're speaking about September of last year if you were to submit it today, and so goes on. The letter of financial support. So you're gonna have this on the website, on the portal again, and then it's gonna have the name of the sponsor. As a student, you can have multiple sponsors. It could be your parents, could be a family member. So make sure that you fill out their name. You fill out the relationship of the sponsor with the student, and then also you fill out the name of the student. So you're gonna need a signature and the day where you're sign all of this information. Now, there's occasions that students get sponsored by a business. If that's the case in your particular circumstance, you're gonna need an official letter from the company on a company letterhead explaining the situation and how they're gonna cover the cost of your education. So just keep that in mind. Similarly, it doesn't happen all the time, but it could be a possibility. On the letter of financial support, you have the space for two people. If you have more than two sponsors, then you can let's submit the form, make sure that it's signed, and you check the box of the live program because you have one for the regular undergraduate program, and you also have one for the global BFA. So check the appropriate box. If you're not part of the global BFA, don't check that box. Um, and if you have any questions, we're open at admissions. The international contact form is just a general form to learn more about your information, um, like your full name, birthday, country of birth. So this is one of the easiest forms to complete. I will encourage you to start with this form because it is quite straightforward. Now, please complete this information by June 15th. The earlier, the better, as we're going to be speaking shortly about visa appointments. But we want you to have ample time to go over the different documents that you need to submit, if you need to ask your banks, and all the different stakeholders that take part of this process so you can receive your I-20 from Emerson. As I mentioned, the passport copy, so it's going to be the biographical page, and make sure that at least it has 6 months of validity when you're submitting. If you need to renew your passport, this is a good time to do it as well. Now, there's cases that are international students who are already here. Um, So in this case, you're going to be transferring your current F1 to Emerson. And all of this is also going to be posted on your portal if that's the case for you. As a transferring F1 student, we need a copy of your I-94, a copy of your current F1 visa, a copy of your prior I-20s, and then the transfer in form is going to be available in your portal. You're going to be working with your DSO, your PSO at your current institution, so you can transfer that information to us when it's appropriate. So make sure that you work with the appropriate personnel at your current institution so you can transfer all of that information to you. And just as you're going to be transferring that information to us at Emerson so we can get your information, I'm also going to share the screen with my colleague Keke so she can speak more about the visa process and what's next after you receive your I-20.
All right. Thank you, Rafael, for taking the lead. So could you please just go back to the slides you were on, the last slide about visa? Thank you. Yeah, so if you're a transfer student, I also saw this question in the chat. So if you're a transfer student with a valid F1 visa and you're transferring your record to Emerson College, normally you would still be able to use your current visa to enter the US as long as it's valid. All right. Next slide, please. Thank you. Yeah, so I think for most students here, this might be your first time studying in the US. So technically, you will need to obtain your US visa, particularly your F1 visa, to study in the US, right? So once you have your I-20 received, you must complete the following steps. So first of all, you have to pay the CUS fee, which is $350 for you to get started on this process. And then you will complete the online non-immigrant visa application form, DS-I-60. This is the form you need to submit before you can schedule an appointment and do everything else. And then you have to pay for the application fee for the visa appointment and everything. You will also need to upload your photo, which is a 2 by 2 inch passport style, actually US passport style photo. So you will need to stand behind a white in front of a white wall, making sure you have no major shadows on your face and on the wall as well. If you are not sure how that photo will look like, you can simply just search for US passport photo and then you'll see how that actually looks like. And after that, you will be able to schedule an interview. Um, so for this one, I actually wanted to share a link with all of you here. So I just put this in the chat. So this is the link from the US Department of State that has all the visa appointment and processing times available. So if you are able to go to this website, you can see your particular visa type, which is F1, and your home country and see how long the wait time it is for making an appointment with your embassy at your home country. Next slide, please. All right. So, as you schedule your appointment, um, you're also required to prepare for interview because you wanted to get your visa approved. So you do have to prepare a list of documents, and be ready to bring that with you for interview. So number one will be your printed I-20, which you will receive, I believe, in your portal. So make sure the I-20 is signed by you. And if you're under 18 years old, make sure your parents also sign on the I-20 as well. You also need to have the acceptance letter from Emerson to prove that you're actually attending the school in the US, as well as your financial documents to say that you do have the amount of money needed to cover your expense at the college in the US. You also need to have your passport valid for at least 6 months into the future. You also want to have your non-immigrant visa application ready. Make sure you have paid your fee and have the receipt with you as you go. And also your I-901 payment receipt, just to make sure you have done all of that. And lastly, you will need to have 2 copies of your passport style photo, which was the 2x2 photo I just talked about. Lastly, during the interview, you want to make sure you demonstrate your non-immigrant intent. So what exactly is that? So essentially, it's a process of you demonstrating that you're not trying to immigrate to the US. Weird, right? So some of the considerations you might want to have is number one, tied to your home country or like residence abroad, right? You want to show them that you have a family in your home country. For example, you have a house over there, you wanted to go back to your home country. You might also wanted to show like your proficiency of English by being really prepared for answering questions because the interview is going to be conducted in English. You also wanted to speak for yourself. Remember, the interview is usually pretty quick, so it's about 2 to 3 minutes. So you want to make sure you are very clear about your situation, your plan, and everything. You also want to make sure you know your program very well. So when they ask you why do you want to study in the U.S., at least you can talk about some of your fantastic programs and Emerson College. Yeah, and also be brave. Again, the interview is really short. You don't want to give them a whole presentation on what you plan to do. And then lastly, you want to make sure you have all of your supporting documents that I just mentioned. So to show your readiness for going to a school in another country. Next slide, please. Yeah, so hopefully everything goes very well. You will get your visa approved by then, and then Um, you will be able to enter the US no more than 30 days before your program of study begins. So where can you find that program start date? So on your I-20 form, actually there is a section that says when does your program start and when does it end. So if you look into that, you will be able to see your exact date of your program start date. So technically you will be able to enter no more than 30 days before that date. If you enter the US earlier than that, you have the possibility to be denied entry. You will also need to check in with us, the Office of International Student Affairs. We also call it OISA, within your first 15 days of arrival to US and to Emerson as well, via a platform called Teradata. So this is the platform we use for most of our immigration requests and compliance matters. So just make sure you do that. This is a way for us to report to the government that you're here, you're doing great, and everything is fine. So just make sure to contact us and get this done as soon as you arrive. When you're in the US, you're also required to take a full course of study here for each term. So by that, it will be 12 credits per semester, and we'll talk more about that when you're here during the pre-orientation. You will also be eligible to work on campus immediately, so you will be able to work for 20 hours a week during the semesters, and you can work for more than 20 hours during breaks like summer or the spring. Um, you will not be eligible to work off campus immediately when you get here, but after full semesters of continuous full-time study, you will be able to work off campus with permission. So just keep that in mind. And if you have any questions around the working, around, looking for a job on campus or off campus, our office is always the best choice for you to talk to. Yeah, so just make sure to reach out to us if you have any questions around that. And so I talk a little bit about the Office of International Student Affairs, but what exactly do we do here? So we help you on a lot of different stuff related to immigration. So you can reach us if you wanted to begin on-campus employment, if you want to work on campus, if you want to apply for an off-campus internship, how do you get permission for that, right? So that's something we handle. If you want to change your major, change your program or degree level, or you need more time, that's something you need to talk to us so we can help you update your record accordingly. If you want to change your education level, for example, if you're moving from a bachelor's to a master's, that's something we will cover. If you want to take a break from school, you want to take a gap year or semester, that's something you will need to work with us as well. If you travel to the United States, or if you travel to outside of the United States, that's also something we need to take care of. So you will need to work with us to get updated I-20 for you to be able to enter and re-enter. If you move to another place, that's something you need to let us know. So we will need to have that updated on your record as well. If you have any questions about academics or campus support resources and you don't know where to go, make sure you reach us. We are always your first step to bring you to other places, take you to other colleagues to make sure you are in good hands. Next slide, please. Yeah, so our office also does a lot of immigration and campus support services for international students. Um, Other than immigration advising, we also do work authorization for you to be able to work off campus. We also have English language learning courses and programming. These are usually free, meaning you will be able to take classes but not need to pay for tuition. You will also be able to get free credits by taking those English language learning courses. In addition to that, we also host International Student Pre-Orientation, which is a 3-day program for you to be able to get here early, so you can get settled ahead of time. You will be able to meet your fellow international students, talk to them, learn more about the US culture. We will get you prepared for the regular orientation, and then we will be able to talk through all the immigration regulations and everything you need to know to get you prepared for your study in the US. Lastly, we have a lot of fun events during orientation. We'll take you to different places to visit different sites in Boston and our neighborhood. So yeah, it's a fine time to be here. So make sure you check that out. I believe the registration is also going to be available in your portal, and we'll send out more information about that as well. Um, yeah.
Thank you, Keken. This is just a general overview of the different departments. So you probably have been working with my dear colleague Jen or myself as the international admission counselors. And then OSHA is, Kek is part of one of a few more colleagues who do amazing job to take care of all of international students. Um, Keke spoke about the English language support, and Amy is the one who works on that area. So if you ever have any questions or you're curious, you can connect with Keke, or you can also reach out to Amy along the way. But now, if you have any specific questions, we would love for you to put them on the chat. And while you think about any questions or you're getting ready to submit them, we also gonna have Picture Yourself at Emerson on April 11th. That's a Saturday. And then we also will be having a reception the evening before. So we would love to see you on campus. We know this is a huge decision for you and your families. So we want to make sure that to be yourself and these webinars, you're able to get all the information necessary for you to have a smooth process and transition from high school or from your current institution to Emerson this summer. So any questions, please make sure to use the Q&A box so we can help you with that. Another thing that came to mind, I know Keke spoke about checking in. Pre-orientation is a wonderful way where you're going to be checking in with us. So please make sure you check in with us with the Office of International Student Affairs as soon as you get to campus. Because one, they want to meet you, and two, they need to check in with you and make sure that you made it safely and that you're here with us. So those are the two things that I have in mind. Keke, do you have any other thoughts, ideas, recommendations?
Yeah, one of my recommendation is definitely encourage students going to pre-orientation. Our students find that really helpful for them to, just get to know the campus resources ahead of time, especially for those of you who might not have that orientation experiences before. The regular big orientation might be really overwhelming for some of you. So I think our pre-orientation is a really good way for you to get prepared to go into the bigger room, to meet your friends, to meet people all over the world. Yeah, and especially with all the immigration regulations that we're going to be covering, that's really important for you to know. So yeah, definitely take the advantage of joining us during the pre-orientation. You will also be able to meet with us, meet with some of the campus partners to just get the first-hand information when you get here.